And I want to read this one little thing there. This is, I don't know how many people are into Heidegger. And I'm going to take out his word Dyson. It has a specific meaning. And I'm just going to put in man. Like, man, you know, mankind, not men versus women, okay? Put in womankind if you want, okay? So, human beings or man. Okay, so the quote is, in the context of being in time, man always understands itself in terms of its existence, in terms of its possibility to be itself or not be itself. Frustration, that feeling of powerlessness, comes when he sees himself, he's standing here, and he sees himself as having this possibility for himself. But the reality that's occurring out of this past that just happened is he's extrapolating, and it looks like he's going to be here, not here. And it's this possibility that is driving him. That's really important. So we rate ourselves, we rank ourselves, we feel good or bad or pleased or happy or sad or frustrated in terms of the possibility to be myself or to not be myself. And then there's one of three possibilities. Either we choose the possibility, we kind of stumble into them, or we've already grown up in them. This is a dangerous one. This is the most dangerous one because it's taken for granted. It's assumed. It's kind of like under the table. It may be like the elephant in the room that nobody talks about or something. But it's unconscious. It's almost always at the unconscious level. But it's exerting tremendous force. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Stumbling upon them, I don't know, that's not so bad. But choosing them is the one that obviously has the most power. To look outside of your past and create a possibility for yourself. Actively create it. Choose it. That has the most power. It brings it to consciousness. It gives you something there, out there, to connect with those little tasks like homework and essays and all this other nonsense that are not nearly ever as much fun as playing video games. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a task that's kind of not fun and a video game that is fun, how do you decide between the two? Well, barring some wicked witch of the West who's forcing you to do your homework, the pull, the drive to do that task is going to be from the possibility as you see yourself, to get a college education, to get a degree, to graduate. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So very cool. So existence is ultimately decided only by ourselves in the manner of seizing upon or neglecting such possibilities. Now this is going to relate to kind of our belief systems, the people around us. This is where we can help influence our kids by helping them believe in those possibilities and giving them the encouragement, the tools, to the belief to seize those opportunities and those possibilities. And ultimately, we come to terms with the question of existence only through existence itself.
Here's a question on the whole goal thing.
Yeah.
We keep saying like college, things like that, which, that's pretty far away. Mm-hmm. Now, for people that think like you guys, is it better to go for that really big, far away picture, or should we like break it down of, this is our goal for this semester, this year, this?
Both.
So start with the big and chunk it down.
Tie them together, yeah.
Okay.
Tie them together. He wants to finish high school.
Right.
Okay? And he wants to finish junior year. He wants to finish freshman year.
Right.
Does he want to skip, like my kids were able to do? He skipped Algebra 1.
Right.
He skipped Earth Science. He skipped Spanish 1. He skipped Beginner's English. You know? So by focusing on getting some extra work done, and pulling their grades up and focusing, putting in a little extra effort, not much. The difference between getting those C's and getting the A's was you know, a few minutes a day.
Right.
A few minutes a day, and look at this. That's 4 classes. That's 45 minutes a day times what? 180 days a school year times 4 classes. So 16,000.
Actually,
What is it?
it's probably like 17 with the 50 up there, but yeah.
Yeah, 17,000 minutes. That's not bad. I mean, normal work, let's see, divided by 60, 1,600, give or take, let's say 3, yeah, 300 hours. That's a lot of Game Boy time. So, but yes, it's going to be tough for them to really focus on that. So that is where.
Should you start with the big and then chunk it down to them and show
Yeah,
them?
yeah. Make a chain. Make it believable. Let them see for themselves. Let them answer the questions themselves. In a more advanced kind of NLP class, we could talk about subliminal anchoring and stuff that you can do where it's more at an unconscious level to generate some motivation. But that's a little beyond the scope of this program. One of the you know, I don't know if I'll go through every little last detail of creating a SMART goal, but basically they have to be specific. You know, I want money, or I want good grades.
Right. It's
No,
vague, yeah.
that's too vague. You can't, if you can't picture it, if you can't put it on the table, it's probably not going to be that solid.
So specific would be I want to be in English.
I want to be in English. I want to be this semester. I want to be next semester. I want to be plus average. That's also, you know, it's also measurable because I want grades in science, English, history, and math. I want a B plus, a B, a C, and an A. That's what I want. Those are my real goals. And is it attainable? You know, is it attainable? Meaning, is it theoretically possible? You know, is it theoretically possible to make $1 million or $1 billion by next week?
Probably not.
Well, no. I mean, there's probably some guys that are going to do that.
Donald Trump, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could, you know, they're going to sell a company or, you know, do something. But is it realistic for me for that goal? Probably not. Bill Gates or Donald Trump maybe, but not for me. And it's got to be in time. It's got to be something that we can put in that timeline, that we can put out into the future, that we can lock it in. We can visualize it and put a time and a date on it when that goal is going to be complete and satisfied. Now, I noticed that there were a lot of kids coming to me that were actually doing their homework and not handing it in. Mm-hmm. So I said, close your eyes, make a picture of tell me when your homework is done. What does that look like? Well, I'm sitting at the dining room table, everything's filled out, and I close my books. I said, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. Now, imagine that you are your teacher. What's his picture of your homework being done? Oh, it's on his desk, in his hand. Yeah, very different. But you got to remember, we are wired up neurologically that when we're done with a project, we toss it out. We don't carry it around, right? I mean, could you imagine how busy our brains would be if we carried around all the projects that we've ever done without kind of putting them away, putting them to bed? No, we'd be crazy. We'd go crazy. So we have to delete them kind of from our active space. So for some kids, changing the intention of the goal and changing what that goal actually looks like as completed. So imagine that your math homework is not complete. Just get a picture of it until you've written out the steps and checked your work. That's when it's complete. That's when you get full credit. That's when you have the best chance of getting the answer right. So you redefine it in some cases.
So for those kids, would you say it's not complete until it's in the teacher's box or teacher's hand?
So no, that's exactly what I would do. Yeah. So now let's redefine your homework as when your homework is complete when it's in your teacher's hand. Now, some kids have a trouble remembering to hand in their assignments. Mm-hmm. So I say close your eyes, make a picture of your teacher, and I want you to imagine your homework stuck in the teacher's nose and you're setting it on fire. And your homework is in the teacher's nose and it's on fire. Or in the teacher's ears. It's stuck in your teacher's ears and it's on fire. Okay? So now get that picture. See your teacher's face, she's got your homework and it's on fire. You do that a couple of times, you anchor it going into the classroom, see your teacher's face, boom, see your teacher's face, boom. Okay? There is no way on this planet that they can walk into that classroom. Oh yeah. I guess I better hand in my homework. I don't think I've ever had a guy. Now one guy, he had a little bit of problem because all his teachers wanted different things. Yeah. Different strategies. They all have different. So we created this little story where he had this boomerang. It all started with his boomerang file that came back and forth from home to school, home to school. So we imagined all the different tools that as a secret agent that he'd be putting in his boomerang file and that to accomplish his mission, all his tools and whatnot, and what teachers got what tools, and so we just created this little visual story, this little metaphor, and his dad said he's good to go. I mean, we were getting about 90% success at the beginning. By now, if he's been practicing, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 100%, no problem. So, anyway, so yes, redefining how we see a goal completed, our terms, our conditions of satisfaction. What is it that satisfies me about that goal? Why is it important? What am I getting at? Oh, it's just because I want to get it done before somebody else? Is that really consistent with your values? What is it about that? Okay, you want to show off for your friends. Well, what if showing off for your friends is actually getting everything right? What if showing off for your friends is actually getting an A+ on the exam, not finishing first? You're in class, you're not going anywhere. So why finish first?
Because then you're just bored.
Then you're just bored. You're creating more boredom, more work for yourself. Take the time, check your answers, go through that, get the whole thing right. Now you get to show off for the teacher and shove that test under his nose and say, yeah, give me an A+, you snickering. So, I'm not going to go, I don't think I'm going to go through this. I think that's pretty explanatory. Just use that visual. It's the visual. You imagine going out into your future. You put that goal into your future. There's a lot of stuff about timelines that I could go into forever, but for most people, their timeline is going to be the past is behind them and the future's in front, for the most part. A few people are going to have their timeline running like from left to right or right to left. But I think for most of the kids that you're going to be working with, their past is going to be behind them and their future is going to be ahead of them. So let's see, what's next? Project management. Those 3 killer questions. And the best thing to do if there's resistance is break it down. Yeah. Oh, okay. You say, okay, son, you really need, it's time, you really need to clean your room. Let me rephrase that. I need you to bring down all your dirty clothes. Get all your clothes off the floor and bring them down. Okay. That's much better. Then maybe an hour later, okay, let's go up and let's reorganize the books. Let's get all the books in order. Or let's get all your computer pieces off the floor and get them put away in a drawer or something. But you make it doable. You know, for a young guy, it may be, let's go up to your room and pick up 10 Legos. Pick up 10 Legos and put them in the box. Okay, then the next, you know, an hour later after lunch, okay, bring down your dirty clothes, or let's put all your clean clothes in the dresser, or something like that. Break it down. If, you know, when you see them panic or resist or whatever, it means one of these three questions is not working in their reality. And that's what counts. Project management, breaking up tasks, you know, creating a little task thing, again, it's another use of that mind mapping technique to get to our SMART goal. The next page is something a little more linear, you know, more hierarchical, taking a project and breaking it down into small tasks rather than a linear process.
What's been your experience of, you know how teachers will give you a project and they'll give you 2 months to do it?
Right.
That's always so bad for, is that common with these kids? I mean, because it's
Sure.
like, it's way too long. I mean, it's so abstract at that point.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist
until the Sunday before it's due.
So that's why it's really important to take the task and break it down.
Yeah, I've tried that. I've marked the whole calendar. We're doing this by this and this. And
Well, but wait a minute. You said you mark it down.
Right.
What did he do?
yeah, he just,
See,
so.
see, you've reached the end of that rope, Mom.
Yeah, I know.
It's, you know, you've milked it. It's good. It's good because
Right.
you got him through this horrible period, okay? And you helped him survive. But now, it's at the end. It's at the end of its life cycle, if
Right.
you will. So there needs to be a new person at the wheel, and for better or for worse, it's him.
Right.
So what we can do is give him the tools, and connect those tools with his goals and his values and his motivations. But yeah. Those long-term tasks are really tough, and if he's committed to getting them done, and if he's at least willing to look at taking that task and breaking it up into 5 pieces, he may find that each of those pieces is really 10 minutes,
Right.
10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes for the rough draft, and another 10 minutes to correct punctuation and spelling. You know, so you got research, rough draft. What's really tricky is if you do the rough draft before the research, you save yourself hours and hours of like going down all these tunnels, right? You got 3 main points, you get 3 supporting details, and that's it, you're done. So what feels like it should be 2 hours can actually be, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65 minutes or less.
Right. Broken out over time and yeah.
And it's broken out over time. So on any given night, he's only going to spend he's going to do his homework and then 10 more minutes. So we got time management, goal setting, confidence. Again, without getting into some really pretty serious NLP techniques, I think subtly and not so subtly helping him focus on things that he enjoys, things that he does well, things that he's been successful at. And it's like, well, you know what? This thing that you're successful at, you bring these qualities to that. You bring outside the box thinking, you bring this, So let's look at that over here. So you get to be intelligent, you get to think outside the box. You know, when you're doing an essay, you get to be creative, you get to be this, you get to be in charge, you get to show off for your friends, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Maintain that balance. If a child is on an IEP or in public school, you know, if they're not at least 80% success and 20% challenge, find out why. What the heck is going on? I'm not a favor of dumbing down the curriculum as a long-term solution, but as an interim strategy to take the pressure, to take the stress off, and allow them to build up their confidence. I'm all for that. And again, avoid those shoulds, those unrealistic expectations, those charts from the doctors. Okay, well they should be here, you know.
Luckily the kids don't understand at that point.
Yeah. And we want to be able to communicate in their language. So they live in a visual world. They live in a visual spatial world. They don't have long attention spans. So rather than fight that and make trouble for ourselves, let's honor that. Let's make our requests short and to the point. Let's make sure they're doable, they're reasonable, that he can be successful at it or she can be successful at it. And probably in a very short period of time, you'll find that trust is reestablished. Oh, you're not trying to screw me over. You're not trying to make me look like an idiot. Oh, okay, I want to trust you. They want to trust the adults around them. They really do. And then, of course, you know, I'll mention that we have our subliminal CDs because that's a great access. If you can get them to just listen to some headphones or play the CDs around the house, there's the subliminal messaging works at the unconscious level, wherever that is, around here somewhere. The unconscious level, which is where the power is. That's that imagination. That's what's running the show. That process. And you guys are coming back, I think, and you have all your stuff, right? You have all your tapes and your discs and everything. Did you use them, any of them?
Mm-hmm.
You did? All right.
Yes, and a lot of them I would put them on, and honestly, I'd be so relaxed I'd just go right to sleep. It's like, well, wait a minute, I didn't get to hear it all. You know, it's like, how long would I be asleep? And then I know when it clicks off is when I woke up. So, like the stress one, it's like, oh. But I felt so much better afterwards.
Awesome, awesome. So, and you guys are going to be here, so I need to get you your tapes.
Tapes, really?
Well, CDs. I know. Yeah.
You're showing your age right
Let me pull out my
Is it 8-track?
my Beach Boys 8-track here, and then we'll kind of like let's rock out, you know.
So, is it like good to play those like maybe while we're doing homework? Is it calming, relaxing? Is it effective then, or
Yeah.
is it better?
Well, there's almost in most sets there's two CDs. Mm-hmm. One of them is like just talking like this. It's kind of like a lecture, and usually goes with the a manual like this. And then the other CD is the subliminal CD. And that's the one, never ever listen to that like in the car while you're driving or anything like that.
Is that the one that knocked her out?
Yeah.
Okay,
A couple of those.
So I will get those to you.
I have to try that for my poor husband. He's ADHD and stressed. Yeah, so you know, so it's like a...
Me and my 2-year-old.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, here's a set right here. So we've got
Turn that on.
Yeah.
motivation, drive and motivation, self-motivation disc 1, or disc 2, self-motivation disc 1, and then organize your life disc 1 and organize your life disc 2. So those are the ones, right? Where is it? Where's organization?
Organization was in the first, well, mine wasn't the first book, but last book or something.
Oh yeah, I guess that is about up in the first book.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 sets that I got to get you, and then a workbook. Here's
So all of them are safe to listen to, except for the relaxation one is the one you, what is it called? Or which one is not safe to listen to in a car?
I actually, let me change that.
Okay.
Because I think even in the lectures, there's, close your eyes and imagine, blah, blah,
so
blah.
don't do that
So
while you're driving.
don't do any of those
Okay.
while you're driving.
Or juggle, got it.
Once or twice, Kathy and I were working together, and I'm like, okay, now close your eyes and imagine, wait a minute, are you driving? Okay, don't do that!
It's okay, it's a red light.
I just noticed you got my picture in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which one is it? Where's
Oh, yeah, there you are.
ta-da!
You're famous.
Is that the one like this? Is that this picture?
No,
Okay, I didn't put that one in.
that's the
I didn't want to embarrass her.
heavy duty mind mapping.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's
Very
like it's
good.
all coming out of your head.
Yeah, really. That's what it was like.
The best one is when when you do some good work and you wake up the next morning and you can't even remember what the problem was.
Really.
And that literally happens with NLP. It's like, whoa, what was I? Why did I?
What was the problem? Why did I call you?
So I call her, how you feeling today? Just a follow-up check. Good. So what did we work on last night? Well, there's a story about Bandler that he had to go to court, and that he was not convicted. He was judged not guilty by the jury, but when they, the way they questioned the jury afterwards, nobody could remember why. They're like, he just kept him in hypnosis the whole
Wow.
day. All he said was lawyer. He just said, "Put me up on the stand," and he got up on the stand and he basically just took the whole jury, put him in a hit trance,
Wow.
and just said whatever he wanted to.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, he's one of the best. He was definitely one of the best.
Have you ever been hypnotized? I always wonder if I always feel like
Oh,
I'm
you have been.
able to.
You've been hypnotized. Okay.
Really?
Have you ever been driving along and gone past your road?
Well,
Highway,
you know
but
what?
that's like
My
that.
son, when he was younger, he just babbles. Babbles, and like it's eating your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he was in a car with me, that would happen constantly. So I don't know if I was hypnotized, but he feels like he's
in a
eating.
trance.
And he was. He does.
Yeah,
it to
you were in
his sisters,
trance.
too. Both of us.
Absolutely
He
in
would just
trance.
eat in our brain, and we're like, we could not carry on our own conversation. We could not do anything but have his babble in our head.
Yeah.
It was.
And I sometimes do that with clients, like kids that they're not. They don't want to. They're not going to sit in a. And I just start talking about this in this ear and that ear, and then imagine this and that, and then
Yes, that's a day in the life of Jason.
you do this thing where you embed realities, or they call it embedded realities or embedded metaphors, and so you're talking about this guy who had this experience, and then he met this other guy, and the other guy was telling him a story, and in the story there was this third guy who had this experience of blah 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 blah, and so you have these embedded realities. And by the time you get to the fourth or fifth embedded reality, your mind can't handle it, so it just goes right into the unconscious.
So is this why my husband was immune, because he's ADHD also? Because it never phased him. Just
What's that?
My son's babbling never phased him. He could block it out. He could just do life normal. It did not affect him in any way. And me and my daughter, we're just our brains are scrambled whenever he does this to us. You just can't imagine. It was exhausting. It was just.
Yeah, if you can't tune it out, that could be exhausting, because this stream of consciousness.
Yeah. So I'm guessing all these little pictures that are flashing in his head at all times. How many? 300 per? What is it?
Well, 30 per second.
Okay, 30 per second. He felt the need to verbalize all these things at all
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Hence, it was overload for us normal people.
And it kind of wanders around and goes here and there.
All over.
Yeah.
And again, you weren't allowed to just go, because no, he wasn't going to buy
Oh, he
that.
could smell that one a mile
Yeah,
ahead.
you had to, say something specific about whatever it was so that he knew that.
That's pretty awesome.
And Jalen's been using this stuff, right? So what have we seen with him? What's the biggest difference?
I guess he's willing to do it. Like I said, he's been asking about your focus CD, and he thinks that helps him focus more. You know, more like because it tunes out everything.
Helps him tune
Probably,
out everything
yeah,
else.
that
Yeah.
would help.
And then, like I said, that he's been making improvement, just
Make-
focusing at the, you know,
On the
at the dot.
So did you put like a dot on your wall, or did you
Yeah,
just give him a
he
space?
gave me some dots, and I put
Okay.
it in his. I put one in his room.
Right.
And he'd be like, you know, first was starting 10 minutes, and then increased 20 minutes, and the 30 minutes one I was like, you know, sitting next to him, nudging him, and trying to see what his
See how much
reaction.
Kinda
you
making
bug
a
him,
game out of it.
Yeah, but he looked at me.
Right.
Stop, mommy. I'm not supposed to do that. He's supposed to focus.
I know I'm tickling you, but no, you focus.
Yeah, I can look at too.
Yeah, I usually just walk around and wave my hand and stuff like that.
Because
Not
it's
too
like,
invasive.
you know, some kids will be
But
like,
what you want to do
But
generally,
that's true, yeah.
30 minutes is a really long time.
Yes.
I've only done that a few times with kids, without having them close their eyes and just go into, you know, a light trance or a visual state that they can take, and they're nice and relaxed, they're breathing. And then I just, you know, imagine sitting down in the class just like you are now. See yourself, focus on the teacher, easily making pictures of everything she says. So that's awesome. That's really good. Very cool. And his spelling's coming along, right?
well, yeah, he can actually spell before because he has great memory. He can look at the word and memorize the letters. It's more like vocabulary, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So this will be nice to see how fast he can pick up new vocabulary words.
Yeah, he spelled
Um,
efflorescence and
Platycephalus?
Yeah, but he,
As long as he remembers.
he's like, well, I don't need
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and what is he not? What is how old?
He's 9.
Jalen? 9. So if he's 9 years old and he can spell and remember efflorescence and platycephalus, what are they going to throw at him between now and high school that he can't get?
Right.
Nothing. Nothing. That's what's cool. And we take his math concepts, we focus on the why, we break them down. He's good to go. He's good to go. He's got his strategies for reading, for writing, composition. There's nothing they're going to throw. Riding a bicycle is going to be harder than high school. And he did. I say this because you did that when you were 5.
Right.
There's nothing you're going to learn in school that's more complicated than riding a bicycle. And you did that when you were 5 or 6 or whatever. So, but yeah, having the experience, the actual experience of succeeding is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
If you can just get them to try it once. Look, I'm not asking you for the rest of your life. I'm saying for this one test, let's just follow this recipe this guy gave me.
Right.
All right? And it takes 20 minutes, and we just do these 3 things. Boom, boom, boom. And if you don't like it, you can go back to doing it your old way and seeing what will
Right.
work. But he's been doing this for years, and he's helped
and
hundreds of
frustrating
kids.
and,
And yeah, and you'll get done with your test even faster because your brain starts to in that mode. It
I'm
just
hoping, cause since we're starting a new school year, that you always start with that whole fresh new thing.
Yeah,
and every
yeah.
year we're always trying some new, let's try this organizational method of our, and let's do this and.
well,
so
when you
it's-
read the organizational thing, I tell me if you tell me if you disagree, Jenny. I think the most important distinction I make between my program and what's all out there is I don't have any idea of what your organizational system should be.
Right, everybody's personality is
Everybody's
different. We all-
different.
Yeah.
So it needs to come out of your temperament, your values,
That's why we end up
your
keep
lifestyle.
trying new things every year. Well, let's try this. Let's see how this works for you. Is this making it easier? Is it making it harder? Are you?
Well, hopefully this will
know?
help you pick one that's actually going to be in alignment,
Right.
that'll actually work for a while. So I
Yeah.
hope so. Let me know.
What do you think of, because this is what we do, because this is what we have to do. I mean, this has been our experiences, especially since he started middle school and we have so many classes. And we do block scheduling, so we have classes every other day. So, you know, every day he comes home, we empty the backpack, what do you got, what's going on? And then I'm the one who always switches out the books, make sure the right ones go back in, and I make sure he's on, you know, because if I leave it to him, it's just gone badly. I mean, am I enabling too much? Am I don't know, because I'm terrified to just let it go, and then he shows up to school with the wrong stuff, and then he doesn't get his assignments turned in, and it's...
This is where you'll hear them say, well, at his age, he should
and I used to be that person.
be able to do this himself.
And I mean, I never ever would have brought my daughter her homework if she forgot it. I'd be like, no, you forgot it. You're going to pay the consequences next time you'll remember.
Right.
That was my parenting skills before, and now I've totally flipped. And
well, and if you've tried that 3 times and he has failed 3 times, then I would say that strategy sucks.
Right.
For him.
Right.
For him. What's the right strategy? I don't know. I don't have a, you know, as much as I'd like to think I do, I don't have a crystal ball that's magic. I just have 100 kids, you know, a year that show me that these particular things seem to work.
Right.
Okay? So I like the idea of helping him be successful. Okay? And, you know, if nothing else, you'll manage this part of his life until he's old enough to get a secretary.
Or a girlfriend who fills in. That's what my husband did. He got the wife.
Yeah. So she'll tell him when to, you know, get up and when to, what to put in his
I
briefcase.
micromanage my husband almost as much.
Yeah.
I'm forever calling him, hey, don't forget. I mean, he has 3 office girls, including my daughter, but yet still I'm his personal secretary that keeps him on track of all those other things. It's so, he may never outgrow this.
Yeah. And you know, I can think of some pretty, you know, Thomas Edison at the height of his career or whatever had 50 guys working for him just to keep up with his ideas.
Right, because he's just spewing them out.
He's putting out the ideas. So should Thomas Edison be keeping his own calendar? Probably not.
Right.
Now, is that an excuse for anyone else? I'm not saying anybody should be excused.
But just, I guess
It's like, where do you want to put your energy? What battle do you want to fight? Where do you want to see his schoolwork suffer because he can't keep a calendar?
Right.
It's not results. It's not about.
Yeah. So, like, you know, I've had this conversation with teachers and parents. It's like, wait a minute. The kid's brilliant in math. He can memorize anything on the planet. Should his education suffer because he can't remember to get his assignments? You know, that's just stupid.
Yes.
So is it coddling? Is it babying? You know what? I don't know. I just think it's silly to have a kid suffer.
Right, because they decide.
Yes, you may speak over there in the corner.
But I think that there's lots of options. A lot of parents tend to go, either it's them do it by themselves, which means there's no participation, or it's I do it all myself.
Right.
And there's so many things in the middle.
Yeah.
That I think it's important not to forget those.
Right.
And for a lot of kids, it's a matter of finding, well, for like this for anybody, what works for them. And sometimes it's a PDA because then it's cool to put it in there.
Right.
And it's an excuse to pull it out. Or, you know, or it's having, for block classes, I have a high schooler that's on that, you have, you know, those bookcases from IKEA that have like the squares. You know, so guess what? You have 2 shelves because you have 2 blocks.
Right.
So the books all go on, you know, this one for this day and these
for that
so
day.
you only have 2. That's it.
Yeah. I have close to that going on in the sense that either there's this pile that's already in your backpack and there's this pile that's sitting right here and we just switch them and yet it gets...
Right. But there's a lot
Now,
of
here's one that it's a little bit I'm gonna say this and say at the same time, it's a little bit of a manipulation. Okay? And the manipulation is you're you're kind of, and it's a dangerous line. I'm going to say right up front. This is something you want to like
Tread lightly.
try very carefully. And what it is you're going to kind of treat him a little below his level of maturity. Like, come on, sweetie, let mommy help you.
To insult him, to make him.
But it can't be overt.
It can't be overdone.
It can't be overdone. It can't be like,
yes.
you're really insulting him. It's just a hint to
Little
make him feel, what the, no, I don't want to be babied. You know what I mean? It's like, the old saying in with all the stuff around breastfeeding and weaning, and it's like no kid ever goes to high school breastfeeding. It's never happened in all of history, okay? No kid has ever gone breastfeeding or sleeping in his mother's bed or whatever. So, he wants to break away from you.
Right.
So you give him the assistance, and if you're giving him also the tools for him to do it himself, then he may start to say, I got it, Mom. Go
Right.
Go do your mom thing somewhere
Go
else.
make me a sandwich, because God knows I can't do that on my own.
Yeah. But here's something that I have found we did with one of the guys. We made up a little piece of paper, and then his dad just printed one out for every day for the school, like 100 of them, 300. And basically it was his homework page.
Right.
Okay? And it had language arts, history, science, whatever his subjects were for the year, right? And then it had, it was like 3-4 little things. And this one said, the first checkbox was homework. The second checkbox was book. The third one was worksheet. And the fourth one was complete. Okay? So he knew that if there was something checked in the first box, he either needs his workbook or a worksheet.
Right.
One of those two. And then when it's complete, you check off the second box. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good.
So this was kind of for as the teacher was giving out the homework, and he could just put page and problem number. So all he had to do for each of his classes was just fill in the little blanks. Very easy to do. And then, any special notes, and then boom, there it was, right there.
We pass out something similar to that at school. It's an agenda thing, and it has the subjects listed and the lines. But it's very, I would find it way too tiny personally to ever write my assignment on, because it's just the squares and the full and it's just very...
Yeah, we just took it, an 8.5 by 11. He gets one every day. Here's for your homework today. And he brings it home, his dad checks it. All right, boom, 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 we're done. Good job.
Good, I don't know if that worked for mine, because here's the thing. We have to think to open that notebook that's holding that piece of paper. That's a huge battle right in and of itself, because he's...
Well, but see, that's where rhythm and routine comes in.
Right.
So, at 3:30 he comes home. At 4:15 we sit down at the dining room table to do our homework. And we lay out our books, and first thing we do is 2 minutes of juggling, and then we sit down at the dining room table, and we do these 3 things in this order, or 5 things, and then we're done. It's boom, 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 done. Boom, 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 done. Does that make sense? Think creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Creatures of habit. If you can get a picture in his head of what is supposed to happen and how he can feel good by going boom, 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 done. Oh, yeah, freedom. Yeah. When they don't know what you're talking about, it's actually more powerful. It may not seem like it, but if the unconscious mind can make a connection between what I want and what I'm doing or something, or what I should be doing, boy, that is 1,000,000 times more powerful than you telling him what to do or trying to convince him, oh, this is the right thing.
Because it's their natural instinct to ignore us.
Well, but if they want to, if they're like goal that they wanted, that what's important to them right then is to own a Lamborghini. So you start looking at what kinds of people have Lamborghinis. Well, if that's what you want, let's look at what kinds of people have Lamborghinis.
Right.
Guess what?
It's not those guys sagging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you need to start emulating that at an early age if that's what you want. The sooner you start emulating, the sooner you're going to get it.
Right.
I mean, I still say we couldn't get Alex off the couch, but boy, when he passed 13 and started looking at girls,
Got
I mean,
motivated.
he got football, wrestling, track.
Yeah.
I mean, he's waking us up at 6:30 in the morning. Come on, I gotta go to school. I gotta go do my workout.
Yeah, because he works out for an hour before school, and then for
Right.
what, 3 hours after school.
Yeah, was he dropped like 40 pounds?
Wow.
Since
Since he
from
started
the
high school.
beginning of his freshman year, when he started football,
The
freshman
first
year.
like 6 months, I think. Wrestling is what really topped it off. But yeah, he must have dropped like 40, 50 pounds. He wasn't like overweight. or
Right.
anything,
Well,
but
he was a little chunky.
he was chunky, yeah. And then
Trimmed
boom,
him
lost
down,
it
yeah.
all, and now he's, you know, just muscle.
And the girls have noticed. So he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
that positive reinforcement. He's got
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're noticing.
And what's funny is that then he backed up and realized he isn't quite really ready to go there, because he started looking at the qualities that he wanted in girls. And well, if you've dated this many guys, you know, in a short amount of time, I don't think I probably want to date you. You know,
Yeah.
that's not what he's looking for. So he's being a little selective,
good.
but
Whereas Avery and Charlie are just the opposite.
yeah,
Take
just
whatever I
comes.
can get.
Hmm.
That's like exactly the kind of girl they're looking for,
Yeah.
because they're not interested in the relationship part of
Yeah.
it. Let's just, you know, keep going.
Yeah.
But
Comes in different age groups. It's
well, no, they're
And
actually the
sometimes they
same
never-
age group. It's
oh,
just
okay. I say some boys never outgrow that. They're
yeah, I
forever,
think
whatever they can.
a lot of
get.
it's personality. But Alex has what 3.89 or 8 something.
It's all A's and one B.
It's always 1A and 1B plus.
B plus, yeah.
It's always a B plus.
Frustrating.
But then he has, you know, he's in a sport every single season.
And they're all advanced classes.
Yeah. So and
Except for shop. He took shop. That was his one easy class.
metal shop, yeah.
You know, it's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as when we were kids. There's lots of drafting involved and other things, and it's not
Well,
just
it
you
wasn't.
get to build something like, you know.
It wasn't so much that. It was actually a challenge because he wasn't used to doing that kind of stuff with his
Right.
hands, welding and.
But it was fun for
It was
him.
oh yeah, it was lots of fun.
And he got a lot of attention carrying that metal rose thing, putting it on his desk that all the girls wanted. But
Yeah.
but it's really a lot about putting what's important to them.
I didn't tell you I took a bunch of photos at that one farmer's market with all that metal, the welded stuff
Oh,
for him. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I think I've got them on my phone. So anyway, go ahead.
But it's really a matter of kind of lining up what's important to them,
Right.
and then you can, you know, tie it in. Because really, I mean, what the people that don't get good grades, where do they end up, really?
Right. Struggling through life and fries with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know of a whole lot of people that are okay with saying, yeah, you know what, that's really what I want out of life.
Yeah, it's just a place you end up. It's not really a goal. It's a.
Yeah.
But he's old enough, though, to walk through that problem solving.
Yeah.
Okay, I've noticed that this is a struggle. What do you think would work for you?
Right.
And here are lots of different things that have worked for other people. And I'm not attached to any of them. But, and we don't have to use one of these, we can use something else. But what do you think would work?
Yeah.
And walk them through the steps. Just, you know,
Yep.
and it may be for a while until it becomes a habit. You'll need to remind him, did you take all of your books out of your bookcase and put them, you know, and switch
Right,
them for
switch 'em.
tomorrow? Did you do that? Yes. Okay, good. But then he's the one doing it instead
Right.
of you physically
Right,
doing it.
right, right.
Because that's always the easiest to let
Well,
somebody
yes.
else do it.
Right.
Always. Why should I ever have to fix something
Yeah.
for myself if I
It's
just wait
someone
long
else to
enough?
do
My
it.
mom will
Yes.
cook it for me.
And look at you know, we talk about the iPads. Look at the process. You know, how do you know when you have the right books? How does that feel? How do you know? How does it get you? How does it occur to you or to him that he has the right books? So again, put it like Lisa's saying, put it back on him. give him the responsibility, assist him, but in a way that is kind of saying, see, you can do this, you can do this. Whenever you're ready, I'm sure you can take this on. And he wants to break away from you more than anything else. Nothing personal on. So if he has the skills, if we can succeed in giving him a strategy that's going to work, my guess is he will latch onto it. He will take it.
Yeah. He's always very happy. Anytime there's a success, I mean, he's extremely happy about it.
Look at it this way. If he can do it himself, he can probably do it in about 2 minutes, rather than spending 5 minutes with you looking over his shoulder.
Right.
See, same thing with all of his homework. If he can do 2 minutes of juggling and then have his little list of strategies here for reading, writing, spelling, math, composition, and he can go down his list of recipes and go boom, 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 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 15 minutes here, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Not only that, I feel good about it because I did it myself. You know, my mom wasn't nagging me, so I get to take credit for it, doing my homework, not my mom. And I feel good, I feel satisfied, I feel like I accomplished something, and yeah, that's awesome.
You know, when you say 2 minutes of juggling, does 2 minutes, I mean, time-wise, does it matter if it's longer or does it make any difference?
No, I just find that, you know, a good 2 minutes to a maximum of really about 4 minutes of warm-ups.
Because sometimes he'll get hooked on something. I have trouble pulling him away from it. Once he starts juggling, sometimes it's just
again, let's remember why. The why is to get our focus.
Right.
And you can always get an egg timer too.
Oh yeah, we do that a lot with the many things in the house, because he has no concept of how much time has passed. And
you're only going to be doing homework for this long. We're only doing math for 20 minutes.
Right.
You said it.
Yes.
If you get done early, well then cool.
Right.
But
you
can't work any longer than 20 minutes. I won't let you.
So 4 minutes.
Well, that's for little kids. That's
right. But 4 minutes is about as long as.
That's plenty. That's plenty. I mean, with a little bit of practice, you'll notice it yourself. If you do it yourself, you'll see. I mean, gosh, even 30 seconds after. I mean, like me, I can just.
You talking about pretending to do it while you're driving?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't recommend it.
So I mean, it doesn't take long. So 2 minutes in the beginning, and after a while, it'll be 30 seconds even. Just, you know, you feel it. Your shoulders drop. You'll see him breathing with their belly instead of up here, right? This is. Right?
Yeah.
You breathe out. You know, a lot of times I'll like, when I'm talking to kids, I'll stand behind them and I'll put my hand on their shoulder and I'll push down a little bit. So I'm like working this, I'm kind of transferring this rhythm, breathing, just deeper breathing from the belly, and they pick up on it and then just, you know, then I talk, okay, close your eyes, imagine you're in school, you're sitting down in the classroom. Notice how easy it is to focus. Notice how easy it is to keep your eyes on the teacher. Visualize what she's saying, make pictures of what she's saying. I'll have to do a CD on that one.
Actually, Dylan calms down after he does his class.
Yeah, it should be noticeable. It should be noticeable. This is not like taking vitamins, you know, and after 90 days you may notice it. No. No, this is stuff you should notice it pretty well. Yeah.